select few that are not initiated, you should already know what this is. And for those of you that aren't, just chill. See, we're gonna get down to the other stuff here in a minute. But what I'm always trying to get everybody to understand is everything is vibration. So before we do anything else, just vibe. Just vibe. Love 12. 1 2 1 2. Everything is vibration. Daddy, Badea, Brahma, what's good, mama? Just let the vibe seep in. We're gonna take just a few minutes to let a few people trickle in, and then we're gonna get down to the nitty-gritty. And of course we're gonna talk about the transits, and we might even touch on the aspects that might be affecting you. But we're gonna keep that brief. Because even though y'all have tried to avoid it, today we do have to get into the Priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. And I didn't say most evil. I didn't say most dishonest. I didn't say worst. I said most devious. And I said that with reason. Just let that vibe seep in. You done fucked up and clicked on some trill shit this time. And you ain't gotta say nothing. You better not do nothing. No, 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 no. Just vibe. Q, how are you? Yeah. We in this thing for real. Hey, it's the Astro Girl Quake. Everything is vibration. Do I have you vibrating yet? We're here for a whole different affair today. Can you dig it? If you haven't smiled yet today, now will be the perfect time to do so. Like right now. And if you can't find a smile for yourself, just allow me to be the smile on your face. Because at the end of the day, all I am is the smile on your face. All I am is the motherfucking vibe. Jazzy. What's going on in Brooklyn? My sister from another mister. Oh yeah. This is a little Pisces moon vibrational therapy. I need like 5 more people to hit the like button for me. The rent is too high in Brooklyn. I've heard that. That means you might need to take a walk through the wardrobe. It's kind of nice here in Narnia. We got white witches and shit. But I think you'll manage. I appreciate the love, by the way. And I'm going to quickly go through the transits again today. Not a lot has changed since yesterday. So I'm just going to tell y'all where the placements are. I'm not going to take a lot of time to just pontificate like I usually do with that. And then we're going to get into the top 5. And like I said, today we are getting into the Priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. And y'all have tried to avoid this for over a month now, but now we're going to talk about it. Because it might be you. again, I remind you, when I say devious, that has a specific definition. This is not most evil or most dangerous. It could be a mix of the two. It's not the worst. It's not the most dishonest. It's not the meanest. It's the most devious. Matter of fact, I know it's some of y'all. We are 3 minutes getting it all the way cracking. So I need like 4 more people to hit the like button. I need everybody else to sit back, let that vibe seep in, because it's about that time for you to open up your ear and let me crawl into your mind. Yeah. You tuned into the Priceless Lounge. Yeah, we priceless now. See, I'm in an exact nodal return. This is destiny. I do not have one Pisces placements on my list. I do not have one Pisces placement on that whole list. And that's the clue as we get into the top 5, because you know I'm going to offer everybody an opportunity to make guesses and, you know, get discounts or even free services as we go through the top 5 to keep it interesting. So that's a hint right off the rip. There are no Pisces placements on this motherfucking list. Pisces placements are angels. They're angels. They're just misunderstood. We're not going to do that. Value. Just because some Pisces done fucked over you don't mean the rest of us don't love and really relish that opportunity to bask in God's divinity. Pisces placements are dope-feeding angels. They might be drunk. They might steal some shit from you because they need to take care of their addiction, but they don't mean any harm. They're empaths. They're artists. Now let's skip this right here. Now let's talk about what we got going on cosmically. You feel me? Because we got the sun. The sun is now at 12 degrees of Leo. And ooh, that that means the sun is exactly conjunct my Venus. Maybe that's why I'm feeling myself as I should be. Because it ain't too many that got it like this. Now, we got the moon. The moon is now sitting at 22 degrees of Pisces. Now, this is interesting because we have the sun still square to Jupiter, and we do have to talk about that because that is a positive energy, but it can be too much of a good thing. You could take it too far, you could do too much, you could overspend, you could overindulge, you could overcompensate. You could get too complacent and fuck up. This is Leo and Taurus, so you could also get lazy. Shit could feel good, shit could, you could really just get lazy in your habits. Fall off your usual routine. Shit, we chillin'. Beats by Bless Zone Out Music. What's cracking, cuz? Now, the moon is sextile to Uranus in Taurus. And Pisces and Taurus are so fucking creative that you could end up creating something that's priceless. This is where you channel the divine and make it lucrative or prosperous for you. See, my Jupiter is 22 degrees of Pisces, so I got the moon exactly conjunct to my Jupiter. With Uranus exactly sextile to that. Man, you just gotta chill and let it come, but you can't do too much chilling. You can't, once again, overindulge. You can't allow this unique time right here to pass you by. You could easily do that. You could end up lost in translation. You could be caught up getting fucked up. Instead of using this amazing creative energy that's out here. Like, this is one of the most amazing creative energies that you're ever going to be able to experience with this. And you can make money off of this. All you have is Pisces and Leo placements triggering Taurus placements. I want you to think about that. A lot of people have missed out on that. A lot of people have missed out on that. We get so caught up in the nodal shift and Pluto and what Venus retrograde is doing and all this other shit that we actually could miss out on the fact that there are some unique opportunities to profit out here, man. It's money out here. You just have to channel your creativity. You can't get complacent and you can't get lost in translation. Fuck you mean. Now, excuse me while I try to become my higher self. I gotta get a little bit higher. Yeah. Perfect rhythm. Now, we have Mercury at 8 degrees of Virgo. And Mercury's gonna go retrograde like the 23rd. So we're coming into that shadow phase, which a lot of people would say is a lot worse than the retrograde itself. But this is Virgo here. So this right here is over-analyzing shit and over-criticizing yourself. And you letting little bitty details throw you off. Now, in its highest vibration, this is you being as sharp as you can be from a mental standpoint. This is you taking care of every little step by step. This is you being on point. See, that's what Virgo is. Gemini is very clever in its mercurial way. Can't get pinned down. But Virgo stays on point. They're trying to keep you on point. So this energy just wants you to keep on point. So the problem is, when the details start to bite back, you get caught trying to fight back. And then the situation once again fucks up around you. We got a lot of Virgo energy going on out here, even with Mars doing what Mars is doing. You feel me? And Venus is at I think 25 degrees of Leo now. So Venus is really doing their retrograde thing now. And motherfuckers really out here out of line now. And you know what else I can see besides the hate I've been seeing with Venus retrograde? I can see people not feeling appreciated with these Taurus placements, and with Venus being retrograde in Leo. You can feel people not feeling valued, whether they're not getting the attention or the spotlight on them that they feel they deserve, or whether they feel like people aren't just appreciating the effort and the presence that they bring into their life. You can see that becoming a problem in relationships. So that's something that you might have to address. I remember, even myself, I said some fly stuff the other day, and I shouldn't have said it because I was just kind of in my Mercury in Leo mode, where I was trying to prove a point to my lady. We were kind of bickering back and forth, and she said, "Oh," she told me, "Thank you for something." She was being a smart ass. She was like, "Thanks for this," or "Thanks for paying for this," and I was like, just because you said thank you doesn't mean you're being great, that you're grateful. So you can keep that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like, that is something that applies in certain situations. Now, it doesn't apply to my situation because I was just being an asshole. But I want you to understand that just because you told somebody thank you, or just because, you went through the natural or the normal motions of situations, that doesn't mean you really showed them appreciation. It doesn't mean that you really let them know that you value their presence. It doesn't really let them know that, hey, you're somebody who's special to me. And that is something that is going to kind of be a theme with this. And as Venus comes into this retrograde motion conjunction with the Black Moon Lilith, like, you can see a lot of drama come about, and then you see people being stubborn and they don't want to look past their own ego and fix the problem. So you see stuff really, really, really become more blown out of proportion than it usually would be. And so the thing you can do is be aware, because to be aware is to what? Be alive. To be aware is to be alive. Now, let me also say that Mars is at 15 degrees of Virgo now, and Jupiter is at 14 degrees of Taurus. So once again, that trine between Mars and Jupiter is blessing us. We have nothing but positive aspects out here, and it's all triggering Taurus placements. Like, this right here is money, man. It is literal payoffs in your life. It is prosperity. You just got to put the work in, take care of what you can take care of, not stress about the rest, and then feel blessed. Feel blessed. To feel blessed is to be blessed, regardless of the situation, and that right there releases stress. Only take care of what you can take care of. I say that to people all of the time. Like, hey man, you can only do what you can do. Just don't forget that. That's one of my favorite phrases throughout my whole life is, hey, you can only do what you can do. Maybe it's because I have my Jupiter and Pisces in the 6th house, and that's helped me in a certain way in my life. Is I've been able to usually release a lot of the stress. Like, bro, you can only do what you can do. And so I'm telling you now, put the work in and let it pay off. You don't have to make anything do anything. Put the work in, take care of the details that you are able to take care of. Don't stress about the rest, and then be blessed. That's it. Now, Saturn is at 5 degrees of Pisces, and it is retrograde until November 4th. But hey, that's just doubt. That's fear. That's you needing to deal with the feeling. Pisces is what? A feeling. There's a certain fear of isolation. And, it prompts people to get involved with society, both from that fear and its origin, which is a complete lack of faith in life all the way around. You're compassionate because you see other people going through it, but you don't know how you deal with your own situation. But you have to figure a way, because you can't escape it. You can't avoid it. If you allow it to control you, it can destroy you. It can make you sick. The set you back. Time heals all wounds, but you have to forgive. Sometimes you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive the past. You have to even forgive your present. Release. Expectation is a motherfucker, bro. Like, that's one of the realest things ever said. Now, Uranus, 22 degrees of Taurus. Uranus is going to go retrograde on the 29th of this month. So I had the dates wrong with that, so I wanted to correct that. And Uranus will be retrograde from August 29th till January 7th, is what I believe. So, like I said, there's going to be a point here soon in the sky where everything other than Mars is going to be retrograde. Everything. Now, of course, the sun and the moon don't do that. But other than that, everything else is going to be retrograde. So there's going to be a lot of changes that are fundamentally beginning at this point. And we'll see the results of that later on, you know, in the year or at the beginning of next year. But there's things slowly but surely starting to change from a collective standpoint. But you really have to address how that stuff is affecting you internally during the retrograde. So that's just something to put into perspective. Neptune, 27 degrees of Pisces. That's still retrograde. You can't allow the culture, outside influence. You can't allow whatever's trending. You can't allow the distractions that people try to put up to actually distract you. I mean, you just can't do that because you have a purpose that is separate from everything else that's going on externally, and that resides inside of yourself. You have to find a way to channel that and to connect with that main line to the divine that lives inside of you. And it's like now you see things differently than you were seeing it before with Neptune retrograde, and that confuses you even more because now it makes you question yourself. Before you were questioning things externally, but now that you see it from a different perspective, it makes you question yourself because you're like, how did I miss that, or how did I not see that before? And so that just makes you be like, man, this shit is crazy. And it just creates more confusion, and it makes you disenchanted with a whole bunch of shit in life. And so you have to realize, you know, the wonder and the mystery of all of it is what makes life amazing. So when you get to this point where something looks different than it looked before, or you get another perception of something, that's the beauty of the situation. It's not something to feel negative or confused about. That's just the beauty of this life and path that you chose here. Now, Pluto, 28 degrees of Capricorn. And so say, Neptune and Pluto are still sextile to each other. So there are some major changes going about. And this is not something that's going to be quick. Like, you can't just overthrow the government, and you can't just all of a sudden shut down, just shut down talks between this country and that country, or you can't all of a sudden just take care of a problem of a country that has, you can't just nuke them and knock them off the face of the earth and think that eradicates you just can't do things like that. So everything has to be a process. But the beauty of this process is if the world needs to be a better place, and that has to be a process, then you just need to understand that process starts with you being a better person. And you just have to be willing to start that process. And so with this retrograde motion with Capricorn and Pisces, what you start to get is you get this stress, and you get these hard times that force you to look for inspiration and look for some purpose, or look for some reason to be doing it or still in it, or just to stay living. And so that right there allows you to find something inside of yourself that is a muse. And stop worried about being amused by everything else in the culture and people and all this other shit. Find your muse. And stop worried about being amused. Now, Chiron, 19 degrees of Aries. Chiron is retrograde until December 26th. You have to hold yourself accountable for every situation in life. For the present place that you're in, no matter what it's in. Even if you're dealing with some stuff that you don't deserve. You have to also look at your part in allowing, or your part in putting yourself in a consequential situation that ended you up here. And you also have to look at your part in how you can go do something about making it better moving forward. Doesn't mean that other people are not accountable for what they're doing, but that's not your problem. That's not your karma. Your karma is your life. So you need to address your stuff. That way you can grow and keep evolving and keep pushing forward and going and growing. That's real right there. The Black Moon Lilith, 23 degrees of Leo. Venus is retrograde conjunct to the Black Moon Lilith at 23 degrees of Leo. So, hey, it's going to be a lot of fake shit. A lot of motherfuckers putting on a front. It's going to be a lot of situations, especially in our relationships, where that pride and that stubbornness really gets in the way of things healing or things being able to be resolved. You know, there's going to be stuff that gets blown out of proportion. There's going to be people exaggerating. There's going to be people being extra. Like, I'm really drinking ice water out of a chalice. Or a goblet. What are these called? A wine glass. A chalice is gold, right? It's just for the feeling. I would never drink alcohol again in my life. That's a guarantee, but that's just for... It's for my imagination. See, that's what fucks Pisces moon people up. Is when you're young, your parents weren't paying attention to you. They had other stuff going on, whether they're trying to pay bills or they were fucked up themselves, but they'd be like, man, use your imagination. So you use your imagination so much that your ass is fucked up now. You stuck in that shit. I have to remind people all the time, like, I imagine myself whooping your ass all the time. But I won't do it because I'm a nice guy. But yeah, I definitely imagine myself whooping your ass regularly. That's Pisces moon shit. Motherfucker will beat the brakes off you in the astral realm. You might be all right here on the material plane, but you get caught on that motherfucking astral, you liable to catch an ass whooping on that astral, man. Stop playing with him. I'll catch you coming out the Akashic Record Library and whoop your motherfucking ass. People be crazy, man. I'm telling you, I had a chick I was talking to, and she said, we're doing something. I told her, she's like, how do you know that? And I was like, because I just know that. She was like, well, somebody had to tell you that because I guarantee you do not have access to the Akashic Records. My spirit guides told me that only few people have access to the Akashic Records, and I'm one of the people that have direct access. I said, do you have a library card? And she said, and I said, nah, for real, like, the way you talking, you act like you have a fucking library card for real. Like, if you don't be quiet and get out of my face. But yeah, man. And the nodes are now at 27 degrees of Aries and Libra. So like I said, man, like, I'm in an exact nodal return. So all the transits I was deathly afraid of and just so worried about are here. And so am I. So that's a direct testimony that fear is the problem, not experience. You're going to experience the experience regardless. You have to deal with the fear. Now, when it comes to the nodes being at 27 degrees of Aries and Libra, let's look at it like this. With the South Node in Libra, what everybody else thinks or what's going on with everybody else has too much of an influence on each one of us as individuals. It's cool to look out for your fellow man. It's cool to, make sure that you take care of your relationships. But a lot of times, a lot of people are sacrificing who they really are and what they really want for the sake of a relationship, or for the sake of an association, or because they want to be cool, or because they care about what people think, and all of that shit right there. No, the truth is got to be what comes out of you. And that will always be a good thing that sets you free, regardless of how it affects anybody else. You got to be straight up. Does it always have to mean you have to be aggressive or violent? No, you have to be straight up. You have to be assertive about things in life. All that politicking ain't always necessary. Sometimes you just need to get straight to the motherfucking point. That's the best part of Aries. Aries in its highest vibration is honest and straight to the motherfucking point. We're going to address this shit, confront this shit, take care of this shit, and then we're not going to hold grudges because we're already on to the next situation. See, that's the beauty of Aries energy. Aries energy is not always looking for a fight. It's not always mad. That's not Aries energy. That's Capricorn. Capricorn's not looking for a fight, but it's always kind of irritated. Aries is actually one of the most jovial energies. It's one of the most positive energies. It's just like, hey man, nah, we're gonna talk about this shit. We're gonna fight. We're gonna address this shit. It's just not. It's not any pretense to Aries. It's there. It's there. And they can address it, confront it, and move past it. It's not as much about letting it go, Taekwondo. It's about just being past it. We're over it. Like, that shit is not, there's no dwelling on a situation or a conflict or anything. It's forward motion. That's beautiful. That's why I love Aries energy. And as far as the numerology of the day, speaking of Aries and Leo energy, we're in that one vibration. So this is about you. Me? Yeah, it's about me, but it's really about you. For me, it's about me, but for you, it's about you. You got to develop your confidence today. You got to be bold in your approach today. Even if it's not anybody following you, you have to be willing to take the lead today. And if you were having your birthday today, then your birthday number today would be a 4. And that's interesting. So we're in that one vibration with the 4 connotation. So I would say that 4 is like, hey man, you use your confidence, your genuinity, your own unique skills and talents, and you through the confidence in those, you start to build from there. And nothing can stop you as long as you stay willing to keep working and keep driving and keep thriving to be your genuine and authentic self. That's what the motherfucking numbers say. And not everybody's a numbers guy. But I am. So, that's what's going on cosmically. Here in just about 3.5 minutes, we are going to get into the priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. But before then, let me remind you that tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the United States, or 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, or 10 a.m. Mountain Time, or 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, be having our first client-sponsored Super Saturday Synastry case study. So we have a real couple that has paid for and sponsored us to use their chart as a Synastry study here. So basically, I'm going to show y'all how I go through a Synastry reading. So we're going to start by looking at each one of these people individually and see what they bring to the relationship. We'll go through all of their personal placements, and then we'll talk about the ones that stick out as far as what's going to really be prominent within this relationship. Maybe even talk about a few aspects that might be prominent in there. And then we will go from there. And we will look at each one of the house placements involved here. So you'll see which one of his placements are in her houses and which one of her planets are in his houses. And these are not just, you know, two people that just, you know, met and they're just want to know their synastry. No, this is some people that have been through some stuff, and I actually know what's going on with that ship, and I will not reveal that because, you know, that would take away the mystique and the intrigue of the situation. But I do want to say that they are successful people. She is a nurse anesthetist, or I don't know if that's how you say it, a nurse anesthetist, and she travels up and down the East Coast doing her thing there, and she's also a very powerful divinator herself. And she's, of course, African American, and she's from Duval, you feel me? But then he is a successful surgeon, and he himself is from New England, and he's Caucasian, and they both are Leos. Matter of fact, their birthdays are, his birthday was yesterday, her birthday is Sunday. So we're in both of their solar returns right now. And he's a Gemini moon, she's a Pisces moon. He's a Sagittarius rising, she's a Virgo rising. And so we're gonna really get to look at the subtleties of them as people and get to look at the chart and see how all of this stuff plays into the relationship dynamics. And then once we get done with looking with them and who they are individually, then we'll be able to address the synastry between them. And this is gonna be like probably take us 2 or 3 hours. So we're gonna be here for a while. And it'll be a different environment probably. There probably won't be as much as vibing and all the extra shit, because we want to make sure that we're able to take care of everything from a professional standpoint. But when we get done, we will open the floor up for an open forum, and that will give everybody an opportunity to, you know, ask about their own synastry or to touch on the synastry between them, or, you know, give what they think, you know, really sticks out about the synastry that we spoke on. So that will really, really, really give us an in-depth look at the synastry between these people, at my creative process, and how this works out. Because a lot of people think synastry means compatibility, and no, synastry is just an assessment of the energy. You derive a compatibility, you know, from things that come with the synastry, but you can never just look at the synastry and say this means they're compatible or this means they're incompatible, because the synastry is really just looking at the energy, and there's going to be conflicting elements all through there. So in looking at the house placements between them, we'll be able to say, well, sorry, I just heard a big ass jet. Sound like we about to get bombed. But looking at the house placement, you could be able to tell, you know, who's more likely to stalk the other person, who's more likely to kill the other person, who's more controlling within the relationship, who's probably more likely to be unfaithful within that relationship, or who was more likely to be more unfaithful in that relationship, or if this is something that, you know, you think is prosperous for them, or if you think this is something that could be potentially abusive to them. There's a whole bunch of things you can see in there. So we'll be able to really look at that and give an in-depth look at it all. And I've put together, like I said, I already had put together like a 23-page Synastry reading for him before, so I have that available. So that's going to be a while in us going through itself as I go through that. But I also have, you know, over the last few days compiled a lot of information that I want to convey within that. And so this is going to be really, really live. Yeah. Astro Girl Quay, you said, do I look at the composite chart also? I could, but I'm not going to this time. I don't really like composite charts that much. But we will be doing that tomorrow. And so I'm really excited to talk to y'all about that. Like I said, by our next session, our first section next week, we will have our memberships implemented also. So this is what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna go use the restroom real fast. And when I get back, we're gonna get into the Priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. So please excuse me for 1 minute. Meds and fans, what does that have to do with anything? It's gonna piss me off. People trying to troll today. Now, let me light my blazy. I need everybody to go share this video right now, because it's time to get into the Priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. And understand, I did not say the worst placements. I didn't say the meanest placements. I didn't say the most hateful placements. I didn't say the most dishonest placements. I said the most devious for a specific reason. Because there's a lot of ways that could play out. hit the like button, I need you to hit the like button right now. And if you're not gonna do so, what the fuck are you here for? What are you doing? You creeping? You hating? You swag sucking? What kind of throat fool? So, before I get into the actual top 5, I do have an honorable mention when it comes to the most devious placements in astrology. And if this one is just an honorable mention, then you know shit has to get interesting on this bitch. So, the only honorable mention on our list of the priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. The Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. See, these people have been through some things. Therefore, they don't trust anybody. And because they don't trust anybody, they themselves kind of develop a methodology that is unconventional, to say the least. See, these are some people that have been through abuse and been through people mistreating them, and people who have been through those type of situations where they've been objectified. So they can develop this mentality that you have to get it how you live. It can get real motherfucking dark. See, with the Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, these are the type of people that, because they don't trust you, they're gonna get you first. Because they suspect you of being fucked up, they're gonna fuck over you first. Manipulative tactics. Like, with the Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, they themselves feel like they have no control over their deep emotions inside themselves. So because they have no control over their own deep, intense emotions, what they do is keep you emotionally off balance. That's how they would keep control of the situation, is play games with you. Keep you off balance. The best defense is a good offense, right? Motherfucker have you discombobulated. That's why the Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio is the honorable mention on our list of the priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. And I won't even get to the things they're willing to do to get by. See, people with the Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio have been in some dark places, so they ain't scared to take it there. I need to kill you. I need to fuck you. Anything to get the motherfucking the job done, the point across, to obtain the objective. Even if it means underhanded tactics, even if it means dipping in the darkness, even if it means dancing with death. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? That's the black moon Lilith in Scorpio. Their shadow side is just a little bit darker than yours. Yeah. That's people whose shadow traits kind of operate at extremes. Shit. That ain't just devious, that's dangerous. That right there is why the black moon Lilith in Scorpio is number. No, that's our honorable mention. We ain't even got there yet. So let's talk about number 5 then. Number 5. This is gonna be one that you're not gonna think is on the list, especially with us going so hard with the black moon Lilith in Scorpio. But this is something I've seen play out. This is something I know. See, number 5 on the list of the Priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. Libra rising. Yeah, Libra rising. Why? Because Libra rising will smile in your face, but the whole time they want to take your place. Yeah. You might fuck around and run into a backstabber. Yeah. Don't do. Let me tell you something. It doesn't have to be you taking it personally. See, Libra risings are political. Libra risings are political. I've seen this. Yeah, I knew I was gonna shock y'all with this one. Libra risings are political. Yeah, they smile, they nice, but that don't mean they're good and kind. See, people get that mixed up. Just because somebody was nice to you, and somebody was polite to you, and somebody showed you simple courtesy, doesn't mean they not trying to fuck you over or take your spot. They got Capricorn in the 4th house. Deep down inside of them, they think they better than you. Deep down inside of me, I think even if I'm not going to be better than you at something, I'm going to be better than you at something, or I will be. Like, I can be very fucking arrogant. Like, hold on, let me show these messages real fast. Like, Libra risings are the type of people that will be cool with you in your motherfucking face and smile and avoid all that conflict, but really fuck you over. Really fucking take you out the motherfucking game. Yeah, Aries is in the 7th house. You right. That Aries is in the 7th house. They'll piss you off and respond to the projection. See, I do that sometimes. I can be real polite to people, but I also have this thing where I will intentionally piss you off just so I can fight you, because I'm really a nice guy and I don't want to. It's not like I don't want to mess up my reputation, but it's just like I'm not gonna start it. But I already really did start it. I made you start it. I know how to press buttons. I know how to get at you. I know how to fuck over you. I know how to fuck with you to the point and politic with you to the point to where I'll have you so fucking frustrated that you can't fucking stand me. And now you can't stand me. And I'm like, oh, well, guess what? Now I get to show you. And it's like, I should have been straight up in the first place and not you know, not fucking with you because I don't fuck with you. Instead of me going through all of these stupid ass motions, I should have just not fuck with you off the rip instead of all of these political measures that Libra risings tend to use. And even I myself have employed throughout my lifetime. Like, hold on. As a Libra rising, you just see people who you can really, really get a wrong read on. Like Libra rising will be somebody that's polite as fuck. They'll seem like the coolest person. Like, man, he's so nice. But the motherfucker be stealing from you. Motherfucker be fucking over you. Motherfucker be fucking your girl. Motherfucker be ready to take your job. Motherfucker be really, really, really playing you. But you thought you had a fucking friend. You thought that was your pal because they smiled at you and shook your hand and chilled with. No. Motherfucker, this is just simple courtesy. I'm nice to everybody. I'm polite to everybody. Don't mean shit. I think people should be nice and polite to each other. Don't mean I fucking like you or I'm looking out for you. Just means I'm nice and polite, bitch. Like that, that's the thing with Libra rising. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, even in being a Taurus and being all that stuff from wrestling, he has a lot of charisma, and that's cool. But he is not the best actor at all in Hollywood. How he became the highest paid actor in Hollywood is politics. He knew how to smile and talk to the right people, and he fucking knew how to play Vin Diesel and play his role right and get into the right motherfucking people's motherfucking atmosphere and get into the right conversations. That's Libra rising type shit. That's deviousness. Yeah, I'm here to teach you today, baby. Libra risings are number 5 on the list of the Priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. Why? Because the motherfuckers will smile in your face, but the whole time they want to take your place. Why? Because they can be master politicians. They can be deadly diplomats. Motherfucker won't do shit to you, but they'll have something done to you. Libra rising. They know how to play other people against each other. They know how to keep themselves out of the conflict, but at the same time, keep the conflict going. Because it's to their benefit to play peacemaker. That's what Libra risings will do. Instigate a situation, instigate a conflict between two people, have motherfuckers really having a problem because they will benefit from playing peacemaker or playing advocate to either one of the people or both of them in a situation. Libra risings, you got to be careful with them. And they're only number 5.
Does everyone need an audition to get
You ain't gotta go through all that shit.
You ain't got to go through all that.
Then I'll choose you.
Be cool, baby. Be cool, baby. Mr. Pretty Tony. I mean, you know the rules of the game. I mean, your bitch just chose you. Now we can settle this like we got some clans, so we can get into some gangsters.
Now let's get into number 4.
Tree nigga. You ain't no pimp.
Number 4 on the list of the Priceless top 5 most devious placements. Does anybody want to guess what this is? I will give y'all 4 guesses. I will give 4 of y'all a chance. That means if any of the 4 people, the first 4 people that give a guess this, I will give y'all a free reading. An audio reading, just an audio reading. Or if you choose one of my other services, I'll give it to you half price. And that's like an hour to an hour and a half to 2 hours of me going through your natal chart. And if you already got one from me, you can get it from something else. No. Chicka's World, you just fucked it up for everybody. You got 3 more guesses. Nothing with Virgo is number 4. Cancer Venus, That's not it either. That's too nice. Scorpio rising. That's not it either. We got one more guess. Don't fuck it up for everybody. Virgo in the 8th house. I already said it wasn't Virgo, so I'll give y'all one more guess beyond that. It's not Virgo. Scorpio 12th house, no. You were close though. You were close though. This is a simple one here. Number 4 on the list of the Priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. Something we all should know, and somebody we all know. A Scorpio sun. Why? It's simple. Because they use people. For sex, for money, for a place to stay, for a come up, for an opportunity, for that. Scorpio suns use people. You thought you was somebody important, but you was a pawn in their plan. That's real. Tell me I'm lying. Scorpio suns use people for a come up, to meet a plug, for sex, for a place to stay, for rent money, for bill money, for like the motherfuckers will act like they could. Like I see it all the time, man. There's this girl that I know, and I knew it by her energy right off the rip, but she's a Scorpio that I see on my timeline all the time, right? And all she does is post pictures of herself, you know, showing how thick she is, and then ask for shit. And then she comes up with different schemes to ask people for shit. Like she's like, I rescue cats. Hey, I found this cat on the side of the road. I need people. She'll post her CashApp. Please, y'all help donate money so I can get this cat healed up. Like, man, stop picking up cats off the side of the road if you cannot afford to take care of them. Because you ain't getting shit for no cat. Like, this motherfucker, like, you know, we're doing all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, she'll this dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, man, like, you playing games with dudes. Like, you making them think you want to fuck around with them and you getting them. Which, that's Scorpio shit. That's fine. Use that energy that you have. But at the same time, like, that shit right there, it is devious as fuck. And I'm not just talking about like a hobosexual. I'm talking about Scorpio suns. Like they're it's not just for a place to stay. It's all that shit. Like they're, and even if it's not sexual, like I had a partner. I had a homeboy, man. And what's crazy is I liked him. Here goes some Cancer and Scorpio shit, right? I'm finna put y'all up on some stupid ass Cancer and Scorpio shit. This for real. I met the dude, right? And I didn't like a lot of people, but I met him, and I bought some, he was a weed plug, but I bought some weed from him, and I was like, bro, I like him. Like, I really like that dude. And the Cancer in me was like, man, I want to be his friend. And I don't say that about anybody. And I like dedicated a part of myself, like, I'm going to become his friend. I'm like, man, I'm going to be his fucking friend. And man, that was a mistake. But I mean, I became his friend, but like the dude, like once he realized as a Scorpio, he picked up that I wanted to be his friend. Like he started asking me for stuff and this and this, and could I do this for him, and could I get this for him? Can we do this and do that and do that? And like I realized, you know, I'm perceptive myself, but I realized right off the rip that I made a mistake. I showed a weakness to a Scorpio. And so I showed a weakness, just like you say, before you recognize it, I showed a weakness to, I realized it, but I showed a weakness to him, like, man, I wanted to be his friend, like, I liked him. And even as a dude, he's like, man, this motherfucker here, like, and he's like, man, fuck that, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, all right, well, can you do this for me? Can you do that? Can you get me right here? Can you do this? Can you do that? I'm like, goddamn, nigga, like, I just wanted to cheat, you know what I'm saying? I just thought you was cool, like, I just want to smoke a blunt with her, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all this other shit, like, and then eventually even like, hey bro, I done got put out. You think I can stay at your house for a little bit? You know what I'm saying? Like that type of shit. Like, man, are you serious? Like, can I put all my shit here, all my dope here? Can I do it? Like, come on, bro. Like, that's the thing. So I've seen it. And it's crazy because he did that because I showed a weakness. And that's the thing with Scorpio Sun people. Like, you show them some type of weakness, they will exploit it. You show them that even if it's a sexual energy, like you show them that you really like you really dig them, or they really put that thing on you sexually, or they really blew your mind sexually. Like, I promise you gonna end up coming off some money. I promise you gonna end up in some way like taking a loss. Like, you're gonna there's not gonna be, oh, this like you're gonna give something up. You're gonna insist that they have it. Not only are you gonna give something up, you yourself are gonna insist that they have it. Yeah. But yeah, straight like that. Tell me I'm lying. Like, Scorpio Sun people can be a motherfucker. Now, the fact that they use people is a reason that Scorpio Suns are number 4 on the list. Now, we finna get into number 3. But I'm gonna give y'all 3 guesses. Three guesses to guess what number 3 is. Gemini Sun, no. I'll go through a recap after we get through number 3. Capricorn Moon, 10 recession. How you doing? Capricorn Moon is not number 3. You said, is it a Capricorn placement? Nope. Neptune in Gemini, Aries Sun, no. We'll go to a sun sign, though. I actually had 2 that I was in my mind and I was flipping back and forth between 2, but we're going to go to a sun sign. It's going to be another sun sign. And usually we like to get into the intricate placements, but we can look at these sun signs and do it to you, because we've seen these people like this. I'm not a Scorpio sun. As for Libra rising was in there, of course, but I'm not a Scorpio sun. Now, really, I don't know. I think, should it be a rising or a sun here? I think it's going to be a rising sign here. It's not going to be a sun. I was going to go with the sun, but the more I think about it, it's the rising signs that are a little bit worse. Number 3. I'm going to piss a lot of them off. Number 3 on the list of the Priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. We could do a slash here. Virgo suns or Virgo risings. You know why? Because they think they're better than you. They think they're smarter than you. They think you don't work as hard as them. They think you don't deserve the things that you have. That's the truth. They think you're too fat. They think you're out of shape. They think you're dumb. They think you're not articulate enough. They think you fucking, you know, like all of that shit there. Like that's what they think. They think they're better than you. So they will go tell on you. They will get you fired from your job. They will go mess up your relationship. They will do all of this shit because they think that you don't deserve it, or that they think that you don't, that you ain't worthy of that. They think like there's this thing where it's like they have picked you apart, and when they picked you apart, they have deemed you unworthy. They have deemed you unworthy. I'm telling you, man, my partner, man, he's a double Leo. Leo sun, Leo moon, but they're both in the 12th house, and he's a Virgo rising. And I was wrong, but I would go out, right? And he would be jealous of my relationship that I would have at the time, because he would think I was a piece of shit to my girl, which I was. But I didn't treat him, I was a cheater, and I was trifling, and so he would see my relationship with my girl, and he would envy that relationship because I had a good girl. And so he would watch and watch and watch and watch. And so me and him would go out, and I would come to town and visit him. I lived in a different town, so I would come into town and visit him. I would take him out. I was doing a little better than him in life, so I would take him out, pay for stuff. I would just treat him all night. He's one of my best friends. But by the next morning, my girl would know everything that happened that night, because he done got a hold of my girl and told her everything I said about her, everything I said about my situation. He done told her every girl I messed with. He done went back and it's just because, it's not even because he wanted my girl. He thought I didn't deserve what I had. And so it's like, they feel like you don't deserve, you're not as good, you're not up to par. If they deem you not up to par, they would fucking ruin your ass. You know what I'm saying? They you know, like I said, at a job, if they think you don't work as hard as them, or you're not doing enough, or you ain't doing your part, they will get you fucking took off of that job. Like, that's that Virgo energy. And the thing is, a lot of times they're not better than you, they're not smarter than you. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they're not. And it's just them, like that's that mindset they approach things with. And so you got to be careful. You have to be careful. So that's why Virgo risings and also Virgo sun / there, we have a double one there, are number 3 on the list. So the first honorable mention that we had, I said it was the only one, but we actually have another one. The first honorable mention that we had was, does anybody remember? Does anybody remember what the first honorable mention was? y'all want to recap. I want to know if y'all are paying attention. You're right, Lilith and Scorpio. And then number 5 on the list was Libra rising. Because they'll smile in your face and want to take your place. Number 4 on the list was Scorpio suns because they use people. Number 3 on the list was Virgo suns and also Virgo risings. Both of those placements there because they think they're better than you. That's why they're devious. Now, before we get into the top 2, I have another honorable mention. And this really relates to a lot of people because it's not a generational placement, but you know, it's one of those placements that's long, it's an outer planets here. So that's people with Saturn and Scorpio. And I put Saturn and Scorpio as another honorable mention because these are the type of people who always have ulterior motives. They're the type of people who always are doing one thing in order to accomplish another thing. They fuck around with people and deal with people just because they're trying to accomplish something. So that's why they are also another honorable mention. Now, to get into the top 2 of the Priceless top 5 most devious placements into astrology. We finna get back into the shadow realm. We finna, once again, have a conversation with that bad bitch. And once again, we're gonna touch one of the placements that I myself have had to identify and deal with throughout my life. And that is the Black Moon Lilith in Gemini. And the reason that the Black Moon Lilith in Gemini is number 2 on the list of the Priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology is because this covers a whole wide range. These can be thieves, these can be cheats, these can be liars, these can be deviants, these can be perverts, these can be manipulators, and a lot of them can be all of it. All of it. Hey, man. Take it from somebody who has the Black Moon Lilith in Gemini. The Black Moon Lilith in Gemini is a motherfucker. I've been all of that. I'm perverted. I've been one of the most manipulative motherfuckers in my life that you could ever imagine. I've been a fucking deviant. I've spent life trying to get away from that reputation. I spent years of my life in a penitentiary. I've been a liar, the best of them, where you could never catch me. I've been a cheat. I've been a thief. The fuck you think I went to prison for? And I didn't go in there and rob nothing. I talked them right out of it, right in front of their face. When I took $100,000 worth of jewelry, I don't know if some of y'all ever caught that story. That's what I went to prison for. Is I did a jewelry heist. And I didn't get caught in the process. I got caught months later. I got the fuck off the money. And it's because I had Lilith in Gemini. It's because of the way I did it. It's because of the way I did it. I went right up in there and looked him right in the face and talked to him. Made him feel comfortable. He pulled every piece of jewelry out in the store. And I took every piece of jewelry up out that motherfucker. I really just took like 5 trays of rings. But right in front of his face while I'm talking to him. I'm just talking and laughing and smiling. And he just looking and laughing and smiling. And I just grabbed it right in front of him and looked him in his eye and walked right out. Before he ever knew what hit him, I was already walking up to the car door, opening the car door when I heard him scream, say, "Help! Oh my God!" I was already gone. I was already gone. Went in there right up straight at there, finessed him out of over $100,000 worth of jewelry. And I spent 10 years of my life in prison for that. Hold on. He'll be out in a little bit. But yeah. Sorry, that was a little girl for my son. Like, being a cheater. Like, man, I used to cheat every which way, man. Like, I was not only good at it, I just, like, man, I would find the ways, all the usual ways that the guys used to do, because I really was a rapper. I would be at the studio, like a lot of guys. I'm at the studio. I really had, you know, I really had ways I could do that. I used to do it in the next room sometimes. Like, I'm not lying to you. I remember one time, man. Me and my chick back in the day, we was like in a bad place in our relationship. But she had one of her homegirls stay the night over there, or her homegirl had a husband that was beating on her or something, like for real, or doing something to her. And she came to our house and she was waiting to catch the bus the next day. So she's gonna stay at our house for 2 days and then she's gonna catch the bus. And my fucking sorry trifling ass just couldn't let that exist, you know, without being fucking trifling. And like, I intentionally started an argument between me and her, and an argument between them two. So she dipped off mad and left, and just left old girl and me at the house, and to the point where I intentionally made her disrespect both of us. Like, picked some shit where she got real, I knew she would get mad and she disrespect both of us, and she ended up just dipping off, and me and old girl was there disrespected the whole night and fucking the whole fucking night. Like, just fucking sorry and fucking devious to the motherfucker. And just played right into that trash ass shit. Like, just trash. Like, I remember one time, when you talk about being a manipulator and a deviant and a thief, I remember one time there was this old guy named Pops. And Pops was a drug addict, but Pops was getting oil field money. And he would get like $10,000, $15,000 checks from the oil field. But he would cash these checks, and he would just be walking around this house with $15,000, $20,000 on him. And he'd be flashing it at people. And he was, Pops was, he's old. He's like 70 years old. And he had an insulin pump on him and shit. But he was also, you know, very flamboyantly homosexual. And there's nothing wrong with that, but he's very aggressive with it. So he would, like, even if you're straight, you'd be like, hey, bro, I don't fuck around like that. He's gonna jug at you, and he'd throw money. He's like, you know what I'm saying? He'll get high on drugs and try to get you drunk, and he'd be like, well, I bet if I gave you $1,000, you'll let me suck on it and shit like, he was shit like that. And so I remember one time my boy Austin, who hung out over there, I went over there and just hustled. But Austin came when he was like, hey, man, he's like, Pops has like $20,000. He's like, man, let's get him. And I was like, man, all right, I'll go over there. I'm going to get him tonight. And so I knew that I couldn't just go over there and rob him. Because if I did that, he's old, he has an insulin pump, he's crazy anyway. He would probably say kill me and make me have to do something, which I would never do because I'm not violent. I just wanted to get over on him with that Lilith and Gemini shit. And so I went over there, and so what I did, I was like, hey, Pops, you know, I went over there, I hung out for a little bit, and I acted real friendlier than I usually do. I was like, hey, man, let's get drunk. And I knew his old fucking perverted ass is gonna think, well, if I get drunk with them, I could probably, I could probably catch one of them slipping, get one of them loose, and catch one of them slipping. And so, that's his plan, and I know that. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna get him drunk and get him slipping, since he thinks that's what he's gonna do. So we went and get a half gallon. Now he sends us with like $100 or $200. He's like, go get something, and we just go get a half gallon of $15 gin and half gallon of $15 rum or something like that, or vodka, too clear, or it was rum and vodka or something. And so we come back and we're like, all right, we're gonna take shots. And so I'm giving everybody double shots of gin and vodka. I'm taking double shots of water. Yeah, I'm taking double shots of water. I'm giving them double shots of gin and vodka. I'm taking double shots of water. They throwing them at me. They fucking trash, but this motherfucker is still walking. Like, everybody's asleep, and he wants to catch somebody slipping so bad that he's probably taking about 30 shots. He ain't on an insulin pump, so he's leaning like this, walking, and everybody else is passed out, and I ended up just falling asleep myself. He stayed up longer than me. I passed out, and so I woke up with the start. And when I woke up in the middle of the night, I'm like, man, where's he at? Because I knew immediately that fucking Lilith and Gemini fucking manipulative mind knew immediately that if he fell asleep, he was so drunk that that money is still in his pocket. He either took his pants off and just jumped into bed, so that money is just sitting right by the bed unless somebody stole it, and everybody was asleep still that was there. So that money is just sitting in his pocket beside the bed, or he's asleep with it in his pocket. So I was like, man, I'm just going to go in his pocket and get it. And he's too drunk. And if he wakes up, I'll just knock him back out. But I'm not going to, kill him or anything. And so I go in there and I go in the room and he's not in the room. And so I'm walking to leave the house. I'm giving up. And as I'm walking back towards the front, I look in the bathroom and he's just sitting on the toilet, asleep on the toilet with his head between his legs. $10,000 just sticking out of the pocket of his pants. You can see the money just sticking out. And I just went over there with my fucking trash ass at that time and just got the money and fucking just got the money and he was asleep on the toilet. He never moved. I just pulled the money out. He just stayed asleep on the toilet and I just walked out. And the next day, because I'm the only gangster he knew, I'm telling you how trash that Lilith and Gemini is. This is devious. The next day, because I'm the only gangster he knew, I knew I'm the person he's going to call. So sure enough, I get a call from him. He said, hey, one of these sorry motherfuckers over here stole my money. He said, bring your gun over here and shake every motherfucker down until they fucking tell me who got my money. And I said, you know what? I'm on my way. So I went over there with a pocket full of money and sat there and shook down everybody that came to his house. That's Lilith and Gemini. And that's just number 2 on the list. That deviousness, that manipulation, that deviancy, the lying, the cheating, the thievery. That's why the Black Moon Lilith and Gemini is number 2 on the list of the Priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. Now, number 1. I'm going to give 5 people a chance to guess what number 1 is. The first 5 that give an answer. If you guess wrong, then you just guess wrong. If any of you guess it right, I will give you a free reading as far as an audio reading, or you can choose one of my more pricey services at half price. Whatever you choose. So you got 5 guesses. Let's make it quick. Astro Girl Quay. No. Venus in Scorpio. No. That would be another honorable mention if I could, but no. Gemini Sun. No. Aquarius Sun. No. Mars in Scorpio. No. It's not a Scorpio placement. We've already covered all the Scorpio placements. We got one more, and then I'm going to cut it down. We're going to shut it down. I'll give y'all a chance. One of y'all was close. One of y'all was close. Virgo Mercury, nope. Moon and Gemini, nope. So, number 1, numero uno on the list of the Priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. The Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn. You know why? Because them motherfuckers right there can be hateful, cold-blooded. See, I have a close friend of mine that I really look up to that has the Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn. And I call her the Wolf of Wall Street. I call her the Wolf of Wall Street. Like, it's dog eat dog. The Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn can be a motherfucker, man. There's something about it. There's something about it. Motherfuckers can be hateful, cold-blooded. Like, you'll see sides of them sometimes that'll trip you out. Like, it could be the coolest person in the world. And then all of a sudden, like, they'll cross you out. They'll cross you out. The Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn is... they're willing to play the long game. And they operate from a dualistic model of the universe, where if one person is winning, then another person must be losing, and they'll be goddamn if it's them. Like, for them, it's like, you know what? It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but they gonna slip. And they also, they'll just wait you out. They wait for you to die. They'll wait for you to fucking die. Motherfuckers will starve you out. For them, if one person is winning, then another person has to be losing. And they'll be damned if it's them. Now, they don't mind if it's more than one person winning, but they'll be damned if they're the ones losing. Yeah, they hustlers. Yeah. They take things seriously. You better too. You better take them seriously. See, you would think, well, you said a lot more about Lilith and Gemini. That's because Lilith and Gemini is a communicative placement. There's a lot more to say about it. But that's just mischievousness, really, in its worst form. This is true deviousness. This is the devil. This is where a motherfucker will let you get ate up out here. When they could have threw you a bone. But they'll be damned if you eat them at a house and home. And all of that is why the Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn is #1 on the list of the Priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology. So, our first honorable mention was the Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. Why? Because they don't trust nothing. And because they don't trust nothing, they do what they can to gain control of the situation. Now, number 5 on our list of the Priceless top 5 most devious placements in astrology was Libra rising. Why? Because they'll smile in your face, but the whole time they want to take your place. Why? Because politeness isn't kindness, and kindness isn't always goodness. Every smile doesn't come with good intentions. Some people just like smiling. And a partnership is not a friendship. Remember that when dealing with Libra rising. A partnership is not a friendship. This is a partnership, motherfucker. Not your fucking friend. Now, number 4 was Scorpio Suns. Why? Because they use people. They have a tendency to use people. Now, number 3. Number 3 was a double one. It was Virgo Suns and Virgo Risings. Why? Because they think they're better than you. Because they think they're better than you, they will break you down and cross you out. Number 2. Number 2 was the Black Moon Lilith in Gemini. That's because they can be thieves, cheats, liars, deviants, manipulators, and just general menaces. And then our other honorable mention. Does anybody remember what the second honorable mention was? Saturn in Scorpio, because those people have ulterior motives. If they're fucking with you, it's usually for a reason. Now, the number one most devious placement, the Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn. Why? Because they can be cold-blooded. Lilith in Capricorn, man. Because they're going to do whatever it takes to keep control of a situation. That's to be honest with you. Lilith in Capricorn, it's not just the hatefulness and the cold-bloodedness and that dualistic model of the universe where if one person is winning, then the other person must be losing, but also because they're going to do whatever it takes to keep control of a situation. That's why. Because you can't play with the devil. Just like they say, don't be playing with God. Hey, Southern black folks, they say, hey, boy, you better not play with the devil. Don't play with the devil. That's some shit that they tell you. I remember, I don't know how many times I had aunties and uncles where I'd be playing around. I'll say something like, hey, boy, don't play with the devil. But yeah, that's our top 5 for this week. And let me remind y'all to tune in tomorrow too. And we're not done today. We're going to be here for another hour or two. So if y'all have any questions about your chart or anything pertaining to this list or anything else, if you just want to ask any question about astrology, I'm here for another hour or so. But be here tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, or 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for our sponsors, Super Saturday Synastry Symposium. And this is just going to be us taking a real couple that have sponsored this session and honored us with giving us an opportunity to use their synastry as a learning tool. And we're going to look at each individual within this relationship, and then we're going to look at the house placements within this relationship, and then we're going to really get into the meat of the synastry. And we're going to be here for a few hours. And like I said, we're going to keep it a little bit more professional than we usually do. So, you know, the vibe is definitely going to be all right, but we're going to make sure that we're able to convey this information in a way that doesn't get lost in all of the other distractions. And then once we get done going through the synastry, then we're going to have a whole open forum about synastry and synastry alone. And whether it's about the synastry with these people, which is going to be incredibly interesting. Let me tell you, if I haven't told you yet, like with the goddess involved in this situation, Tiara, she's a nurse anesthetist and a divination expert in her own right. And, you know, she is a Nubian goddess from Duval. You feel me? And then we have Derek. He's a doctor, successful surgeon to be exact. He's a Caucasian male from New England, you know, and somehow the universe directed these people into each other's path, and they have an amazing dynamic between them. They have an awesome connection. And I'm not going to speak on the nature of their relationship because that's not what synastry is really about. What I'm going to speak on is the energies involved and give my assessments there. This is not a compatibility determination. This is a synastry symposium, and I'm going to teach you how to do it for real. So, make sure you're here tomorrow, because we're going to really through the synastry involved and the knowledge that I've already presented to you about who they are in their own right, because there's not much more I can share beyond that. We will be able to paint a picture, and I'm so excited. And this is something that I'm going to be offering from this point forth. You just have to get at me in my email to inquire about these services. That's going down tomorrow. He said, how do you use deviousness to benefit all people? I mean, deviousness is just a part of you. I mean, one aspect or one placement is not going to dominate your whole character. There could be something that you are capable of that you don't necessarily employ. It could be something that you employ in order to try to realize your ambitions. It could be something that you try not to deal with and you try to, heal instead. Like, there's different ways you can approach certain traits within your character. Just because that's a part of you doesn't mean that that's something that you let dominate your whole personality. That's the thing to remember about any placement. But yeah. We here with this for real. I'm ready for this Super Saturday Synastry Symposium. With that motherfucking trio shit. Everything is vibration. Now, the floor is now open for any questions y'all may have. We here for a little bit to answer any questions that's plaguing you. No, I would not say that. I'm a grown-ass man. I don't say bullshit. Like I said, we're here for another hour or so. Nasty voice. What you doing with that nasty voice? You said, Lilith in the 3rd house, Scorpio ascendant. You got a nasty mind. You might even like to talk nasty. But no, for real though, with Lilith in the 3rd house, a lot of it, the stuff, the shadow traits you have, you picked up from your environment that you were raised in. And, it also tells me that, you might have been, I don't know what I want to say, trouble in school, but you were just not one of the, you weren't one of the easiest people to deal with in your grade school years. And you might also have a tricky relationship with your brothers and sisters with that. See, I have Lilith in Gemini, but mine, it's in the 8th house though. But yeah, with Lilith in the 3rd house, you're also very sharp because of the environment that you were raised in. Because if you, being the way that you are, you have a certain street smarts to you. You don't miss much. You might even play dumb in certain situations, but you don't miss nothing. Don't nothing get past you. Ain't nobody gonna get over on you. Like, and you yourself are very, very, very quick with it. And when I say quick with it, not only are you quick with it, you are also quick witted. And so all of that just makes you for a very interesting individual, an interesting conversationalist. Your mind is like, it's your mind that tends to go in these dark places. Like, you can control your emotions sometimes, but your mind goes into these places sometimes that can get you into trouble. And it's like you catch it sometimes, but other times it takes over and you end up getting yourself into a situation that was unnecessary. Everything is intense though. Now, Kimberly Helbing, you said, do I think it's odd that your daughter is a 0-degree Aries sun and your sister's daughter is a 29-degree Pisces moon? No, I think it's interesting, not odd. As an astrologer, I see all kinds of stuff, so there's not much things that I find odd. There's a lot of things that I might see that's interesting, and I say, that's interesting. Because either one of those could be 1 inch off, 1 minute off. One, and then the whole thing would be different. They were both, And when it comes to those placements with the moon, you are in the rising sign, especially those quick fluctuating placements like that, you would have to really assess, is there, because that's still a conjunction. Is there some type of energetic correlation going on there? Love 12. You said your daughter has moon in the 8th house in Leo. You said, does that have to do with the emotional inheritance as well as monetary inheritance? Where you going? Yeah, spray first though. Let me put this out. Next time, let me know you're back there before you spray first. And don't be coming in and out. Yes, son. A lot more. You can't move out of the way. Did you get enough rest? JG? Give me a second, y'all. So, I've never even considered the concept of emotional inheritance. That's an interesting concept. Are you a Leo moon? Do any of y'all, does anyone in your family have Leo moons to where that can... Uh-oh. Close on our door? Oh, okay, that's fine. Sorry, I had a note on my door. Now, back to what I was saying. There's probably some monetary. I wouldn't always say that 8th house moon would be a monetary inheritance, but there has to be something there. But man, that's a concept I've never thought of. That's interesting. Emotional inheritance. What is that? I would have to say that you would have to get that. That would mean that would have to be a Leo moon placement that came from somebody else in their family then. Love 12, you said you're a Leo Mercury in the 4th house and your husband is a Leo sun, and yes, that's something she got from her dad. Absolutely. Yep. See, a lot of people don't even realize that astrology is genetic. And I've explained this to other people that I deal with personally. Because like this, look. Let me put it in perspective, right? My daughter. She is a Capricorn, a 21 degree Capricorn sun, right? Even me, we can go back before that. Just look at me, all right? My moon is in Pisces in the 5th house. My mom is a Pisces sun, Leo moon. My Mars is in Capricorn in the 4th house. My dad is a Capricorn moon. I have Mars at 21 degrees of Capricorn. My daughter is a 21 degree Capricorn sun. Yes, her sun is exactly conjunct my Mars in my 4th house. My daughter, her rising sign is conjunct my Venus at 12 degrees of Leo, and it ain't over with. Her moon sign is conjunct my rising sign. Her moon is 16 degrees of Libra, which is my rising sign. Now, her mom is a Scorpio moon. Well, with her being a Leo rising, then that means Scorpio is her 4th house. Just like my dad is my 4th, then her mom is her 4th house. So she's actually, as much as she has placements and personality traits that come from me, she is carrying on her mom's spiritual lineage. So you can look in their 4th house and see which karma you are bringing along with you, which parent's karma you're tied to. And whichever parent has more of an influence with your 4th house, that's going to be the karma that you're probably tied to. Or whatever you have in your 4th house, that's the root of it all that you're coming from. For me, it's my dad. For her, it's her mom. But she has a lot of personality traits that are influenced by me. My son, his rising sign is exactly conjunct my moon. My middle son, his rising sign is exactly conjunct his mom's sun. My oldest son, his son is conjunct my Venus. Like you see that, like you see in astrology that it plays out like that. So when you say emotional inheritance, yeah, I would guess that would be, but like there's just astrology plays out genetically in that way anyway for a lot of people. Now, Remy Range, you said you did a chart for a small child and all the houses lined up in order. Is that normal? It's normal, but it's not common. I think it's beautiful when that happens. And that when that's an Aries rising and everything does that, like you'll see some, like sometimes you'll see some Aries charts that are so straight up. Those Aries rising charts, like everything, and you'll even have planets everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll have planets just about everywhere they're supposed to be. Leo sun in the 5th house. You get what I'm saying? Like you'll have all of that shit just almost exactly perfect, and you'll be like, damn, everything is just like. And that person is a straight up person. You'll see that type of person. There's nothing conflicted about him. And then, yeah, Love 12, that makes perfect sense. Like, astrology is really, really, really genetic, or it's really, really karmically influenced, whether you believe it or not. Like I said, I can. That's the thing about me is. Let me turn this down real fast a little bit. I have a chart that plays out literally, and I can just show you how that just, and I've done this before for you, I'm not gonna do it right now, but how that's played out in my life. Like my chart is literal, and I don't have a lot of faith. I have Saturn in Sagittarius. I don't believe in a lot of stuff. I don't believe a lot of shit. I have a faith issue. I grew up in the church, and my grandfather was a pastor at the church, so I became disenchanted with religion very young because I saw the business of church. Because I grew up in 2 different church atmospheres. My mother was Episcopalian, and so they went to an Episcopalian church that was predominantly Caucasian, and they wore robes, and they did, they went to church for 45 minutes on Sunday morning. They had a potluck on Wednesday night. But other than that, you go into church and they did their little ritual and then you left. Now in black church, it's a whole affair. And my grandfather was the pastor of the black church. And so I would also go there, and that's a whole different experience. So me being deep in both of those experiences and being an acolyte in the Episcopal church and being behind the scenes there, and then also dealing with the stuff that I saw being young with my grandfather being the pastor of the church, I saw the business of religion from a very early age. So with my Saturn in Sagittarius, I just didn't have a lot of faith. And so from the age of 8, once I was introduced to astrology in a certain way, and it was something that felt real and relevant to me, it's something that I believed. And that doesn't mean I believed in it, because you don't believe in astrology. It's not a fucking religion. It's not a spiritual practice. It is a spiritual tool of understanding yourself that helps you out on a spiritual journey. It is not the destination. You find your higher power through astrology and through knowledge of self. Astrology is not the higher power. It is a tool. And so people get caught up like, oh, I believe in it. No, I believed astrology, not I believed in it. And in my belief of it, it allowed me to utilize it. Because it was something that was real, I could see it. And so from the very first moment when my uncle said, well, you got to come in with Roddy because he's a Gemini. And my mama said, no. My baby's a Cancer. And I heard my mama say that at 7 or 8 years old. And that immediately made me feel some type of way. And then me realizing later on that I'm a Cancer and my mama said that, and that's what fucking triggered that in me, blew my fucking mind. It's not what she said, it's how she said it, and that's my mama. And so it just kind of, a whole process of things. The fact that I could see literally how different situations played out in my life. You know, so it's just yeah. Nasty voice, you said Scorpio rising, moon in the 9th house in Cancer and sun in the 8th house in Gemini. Oh man. Oh, Scorpio rising with moon in the 9th house in Cancer. So you feel everything. You feel everything. And you know, you also, because you feel so much and because you have that Gemini in the 8th house, you have what I would call an artist's soul. You are so sharp. You are like so perceptive of things that like you have an artist's soul. And extremely clever, extremely sexual too, but you struggle with intimacy with people sometimes because you struggle with trust. But yeah. We here. Now, you got a twin here. Scorpio rising, Cancer moon in the 9th, Gemini moon. Ooh. We got one here. We got two here. Now, Kimberly Helbing, you said, what kind of astrology covers the lineage and ancestral stuff? This type of astrology. Western, you know, you can look at it through. I mean, anything that correlates in Western is going to correlate in sidereal once you look at it, because you're just going to see that off-putting of that 25-degree range. So, I mean, it's still going to be correlations between both, because it's just going to be a difference, a 25-degree difference in the correlations, but the correlations between those two charts are not going to be different. You understand? So it doesn't matter what type of astrology you use, really, because the correlations between those two charts is going to be there either way. But I have, through my Placidus and Western, just in an esoteric or a mundane sense, have I been able to spot certain lineage and certain genetic traits that keep going on through family members. Like, I could keep going. Like, I just told you that my moon, like, understand, my mom is Pisces Sun, Leo Moon. My moon is conjunct not only to my mom's North Node in Leo. No, I mean my Venus is conjunct to my mom's North Node in Leo, but my Venus is also conjunct to my mom's moon. Now, my mom, like I said, is a Pisces Sun, Leo Moon. My moon is in Pisces in the 5th house. So I have a lot of stuff like my mom. And I'm definitely had a special relationship with my mom before she passed. We had a special bond. But, as I said, my Mars is in Capricorn in my 4th house. My dad is a Capricorn moon. So I am karmically linked to my dad's family, or to my dad, in that way. Now, my sister, she is a Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius rising, and Virgo moon. Well, the thing is, her being a Sagittarius rising, that places Pisces in her 4th house. So my mom's a Pisces Sun, so there's my mom. There's her mom. And so she's karmically linked to my mother's lineage. So as much as she's like my dad, and as much as she's related to me, or she is karmically linked to my mom in that way. And so you can look even beyond just the genetics or the personality traits. You can, like I said, you look at that 4th house and that nadir specifically, the IC specifically, and you see which one of your parents, or what situation that you kind of are karmically linked to. You feel me? Remy Rain says their Mars is in Capricorn too. Yeah. Then you know how to make it do what it do as well. Like myself. Everybody asks all the time, so I'm going to say it one time for the people that want to know. I'm a Cancer Sun, Pisces Moon, Libra Rising. I have Pluto in my 1st house, though, in Scorpio. And that is important, because you have Libra Risings, but when you have Libra Risings with Pluto in the 1st house, it changes that dynamic of that Libra Rising. And I am a 16-degree Libra Rising in the PlAcEmEnts system, which is very important, because that means all of my houses are split right down the middle. So half of my chart is Libra, half of my chart is Scorpio in its orientation. Or you could just say half of my 1st house is Libra, half of my 1st house is Scorpio, half of my 2nd house is Scorpio, half of my 2nd house is Sagittarius, half of my 3rd house is Sagittarius, half of my 3rd house is Capricorn, half of my 3rd, and I mean, it's split like that all the way through. I have no interceptions. And so it's just kind of like that. So some of my placements kind of fall within a Scorpio rising type orientation, and some of them, depending on what side of the house they fall in, they look more like Libra rising placements. But that's kind of how it is with me. I have Mercury and Venus in Leo in the 10th house. I have Mars in Scorpio in the 4th house. I have Jupiter in Pisces in the 6th house. I have Saturn in Sagittarius in the 2nd house. I have Uranus in Sagittarius in the 3rd house. I have Neptune in Capricorn in the 3rd house. I have Pluto in Scorpio in my 1st house. And I have the Black Moon Lilith in Gemini in my 8th house. And my North Node is in Aries in my 7th house. So there's an astrological picture of me. Only to be fair, and I'm not going to repeat it again. I did say I have Mars in Capricorn. I said I have Mars in Capricorn in my 4th house. I've said that several times. Mars in Capricorn. Did I mistake that right there? My Mars is in Capricorn in my 4th house. Mercury and Venus in Leo in my 10th house. Mars in Capricorn in my 4th house. 21 degrees of Capricorn in my 4th house, to be exact. Nasty Voice, you said North Node on the 8th house conjunct with Sun, and South Node in the 2nd house for a Scorpio rising. You're learning how to share in this life. That's the simplest way to say that. Like, you're learning how to be with other people and share with other people and have intense interchanges, because, like, in previous lives, like, you just got money, you were focused on that on your own. Like, you were just kind of on your own. So this life right here, like, people are drawn to you and you're drawn to people, and it's like sometimes I feel like you're in these ties and these bonds with people that you can't get away from sometimes. And it's just because you're learning how to share and have those type of intense connections with people in this life. You're not here to really to be alone or to be focused on just the material world. That's why God made you so sexy. Now, Kimberly Helbing, you said you're a 9-degree Libra Sun, Pisces rising is 25 degrees. Your Mars is in Scorpio, Venus also with Uranus in between them. That's what's up. That's what's up. Now we all becoming acquainted astrologically. Now, in sidereal or Vedic, I'm a Virgo rising with Gemini. Yeah, I'm a Virgo rising with a Gemini Sun in the 10th house, an Aquarius moon or a Shatabisha moon in the 6th house. Mercury and Venus are in Cancer in the 11th house. My Mars is a Sagittarius in the 4th house. My Jupiter is in Aquarius in the 6th house. But it's in Purva Pavardra and not in Shatabisha. My Saturn is in Anuradha Nakshatra or in Scorpio in my 3rd house. I don't remember the outer planets because you don't really go beyond that in Vedic, but I think Uranus is in Scorpio also, probably in Mula Nakshatra. So Uranus is in Scorpio or Jesta. It could be in Jesta. So Uranus is in Scorpio in the 3rd house. Neptune is in Sagittarius in the 3rd house. Neptune is in Mula. Uranus is in Jesta. And then Pluto is in Libra and Swati in the 1st house still. No. My Mars is in Atura Ashada Nakshatra, the undefeatable. I got the, but it's in the 4th house, so that sucks. But I also have the baddest Mars there is, though. My Venus is in Ashlesha. My Venus is in Ashlesha Nakshatra. My Sun is in Rudra. Ardra. My Sun is in Ardra. My ascendant is, I don't know what my ascendant is, because my ascendant is right on the, I'm talking about by the minute. It could either be, if I was born 1 minute earlier, on my, then whatever they put on my birth certificate, then I'm Hasta. My ascendant is in Hasta Nakshatra. If I was born 1 minute later, or wherever they said I was born, then it's in Chitra. But yeah. Let me answer these questions real fast. Nasty Voice said he loves materialism. Young God, you said Jupiter conjunct Lilith in Libra for Synastry. I mean, you still got to understand that there's a lot that could be learned there, but one person, that could be like a really codependent relationship. That might be a good relationship for one person, but one person could be codependent on that other relationship. They learn so much, and that relationship has been so, influential in their life and been such a blessing to them in one way or the other, that Lilith person could easily become codependent on that relationship. They could just become dependent on that other person and think that they can't function without being in a relationship with that person, and that's never a healthy situation. So let's just look at that like that. Hold on. Now, Jazzy, you said, when do I find Vedic to be more significant than Western? Vedic might be better for predictions, but I would also say, like, the nakshatras, like, to know that nakshatra is so important. Like, the sign matters, but the sign really doesn't matter. With Vedic, to know that nakshatra that planet is in, even by the pada, like, that gives it that gives you a whole different understanding of that placement. That transcends the sign in the house. Like, it like, that nakshatra is the most awesome thing in all of astrology for me, is to know the nakshatras. And people say, well, that's just the mansions of the moon. But I'm not just talking about what it is. I'm talking about how it is explained and how it is interpreted, because that is uncanny. Like, when you're dealing with Vedic Aquarius moon in the 6th house, that's not going to mean the same thing that it means, for Western Aquarius moon in the 6th house. It just can't. It doesn't mean the same thing. It means something else. It can be similar, but it'll ultimately mean something else, or it adds another dynamic to it. And so I just feel like for predictions, I would go there. For personality traits and for character development, I would stay with Western. And in particular, for me, PlAcEmEnTs. But I think when it comes to the nakshatras, that's everything. That's probably the coolest part in all of astrology for me. But there's also a lot of stuff in Vedic that's unnecessary, in my opinion. So it's just really up to your personal preference. Excuse me, y'all. I've been up since 5. Hey, I've been smoking a lot. Y'all got to forgive me. I'm eating a cookie on this live. I'm doing it again. I'm eating a fucking cookie. You're going to have to kill me. I'm going to try not to be rude. I'm going to hide behind the mic. The Libra rising in me doesn't like eating in front of people when I'm supposed to be having a presentation, but I'm doing it. I'm eating a fucking cookie. Not only do I have to, I want to. Yeah, that's Sagittarius. Your birth and your Lagna or your ascendant nakshatra, that's Sagittarius ascendant. I'm a Tura Ashada for my Mars. My Mars is a Tura Ashada, which is after. Purva is before, Atura is after. Or before, like first and second. Like Purva Prabhadra and then Atura Prabhadra. Purva Ashada, Atura Ashada. But yeah, that's Sagittarius, bro. It's an elephant. No, yeah, it's like an elephant. But it's you know, you're strong. Lucky, strong, lucky. It's luck. It means no matter what, you don't get down. You're undefeatable. Ashada asks, how do you become undefeatable? And you become undefeatable by being undefeatable and by not letting anything get you down. Because everybody goes through setbacks, everybody faces pitfalls, but how you respond is everything. So you become undefeatable by being undefeatable. And that is what Ashada kind of plays into. Earthshaker 9th Avatar. Now you want to troll me about that fight last weekend. You didn't see my video I made about it? I actually predicted that to happen, but my fights are, I'm heartbroken that happened to Errol Spence Jr. And Terrence Crawford is one of the best fighters I've ever seen. Much love to Terrence Crawford. But my heart is broken for Errol Spence. Like he got beat like a fucking slave. I said Errol Spence has a better chart for a fighter, but Terrence Crawford, the astrology of the night benefits Terrence Crawford. That's what I said in the video. Basically, if I was betting money, I would bet on Terrence Crawford. He has more ways he can win, and then you also have to understand Terrence Crawford when I say he had more ways he could win, like he could knock Errol Spence out, which he did. He's faster than Errol Spence. He has longer arms than Errol Spence. Errol Spence could only beat him up over a few rounds. And if Errol Spence couldn't beat him up, then Errol Spence was going to lose. Errol Spence couldn't beat him up. His punches didn't affect him. He got knocked down too early. When he got knocked down early in the fight, he lost his confidence. He's not the person. He's the type of person where you have to feel his strength. Like Errol Spence is the type of fighter where he's a Mars and Capricorn. He's the type of person where it's like, you're going to feel me. You're going to feel my presence. I'm going to keep pressing on you. I'm going to keep pressing on you over time. And eventually you'll break. Well, Terrence Crawford he's the type of person where he's a technician. You're never going to get to that. So it's like he's smarter than you. He's sharper than you. He knows he's better than you with that Virgo shit. And so as they got into the ring, it came down to the fact that if Errol Spence was not going to be able to have that effect that he has on everybody else without an alternate game plan, he was always going to lose. And so I hated that it happened to him like that because I thought it would be a more competitive fight as everyone else did. But I predicted Terrence Crawford to ultimately make that win. Even though my heart was with Errol Spence. And my heart is still with Errol Spence. But I do think that he needs to consider retirement and he does not need to have a rematch even at 154 pounds this year. He needs to rest at least for a year. He sustained some really, really, really hard injuries to overcome. He's already been through a lot. So I think he should really consider for his health moving forward, him at least taking a year off, like a lot of doctors have advised. And if not, just retiring. He's accomplished a lot. He's a Hall of Fame fighter. He just made $40 or $50 million total for this fight. At least 25 guaranteed. And then with the gate, probably another 10 apiece. So at least $35 million he probably made from these fights here. And so making that in one whop and already being a millionaire, he should really consider it, if he does love his children the way that he says he does, putting it down and for him to be able to have all of his faculties for them at some point in his life, because he sustained a lot of punishment. And one more beating like that could definitely, if not be life threatening, which it probably won't be, it'll definitely be threatening to his overall long-term health. Yep. Appreciate the love. Today Masters Astrology. But yeah, man. Crawford's the best in the world. Like, when you're dealing with Mars and Virgo, let me tell you, and I'm going to tell you, like, the astrology, like, the North Node was conjunct his Jupiter. So, I mean, it was like destiny for him to, and also, it was ironic that they both made the amount of money that they made in a fight with Uranus trying to both of their Mars. But both of their careers took on different trajectories after that night, to where Errol Spence will never make as much money as he made before that fight. He would never be billed the same. Errol Spence was one of the biggest draws in boxing before that. Errol Spence was, that's why Crawford couldn't get big fights. So he wasn't a pay-per-view star per se. But Errol Spence has filled up stadiums. He filled up the Dallas Cowboys stadiums. People pay to see Errol Spence fight. So because of the hype or whatever you want to say that's built up behind him. Well, ultimately, because of that fight, everybody got to see Terrence Crawford. So now, Terrence Crawford is the A side of whatever fight he fights in. No matter who he fights, he's the A side, unless he fights Canelo Alvarez, which he won't do. So, no matter what, he has the negotiating power now. From now on, he will make, like, Terrence Crawford is getting interviews with people that never even knew who Terrence Crawford was, because he wasn't as much of a celebrity as Errol Spence was. But now, Terrence Crawford's career has taken on a whole different trajectory. Just like Errol Spence's career has taken on a different trajectory, because him being what he was, this tank that was unstoppable, the facade of that has been crushed. And so he can come back and have good fights, and he can come back and be a competitive fighter. But what made him a pay-per-view fighter has been destroyed now. So he does not have the same allure that he would have before. So his money is not going to be the same. So he should really consider retirement. But yes, the astrology of that situation was very interesting, and it played out exactly how the stars said it would. I just didn't think it would be in such spectacular fashion like that. Like, wow. And yeah, I will consider doing UFC fights. I would have to find out if I could get those fighters' information, first of all. If I could get their birthday, then I can do anything with it. I don't need their rising signs, because I don't look at all of that as far as fighters all of the time. But I definitely will consider it for you. It has to be big fights that people know about. Like, I'm only mad that I didn't post that video on the Spence and Crawford fight a month earlier. If I would have posted it a month earlier, it probably would have had 50,000 views. It just got 1,000 in 2 days. I just posted it 2 days before the fight, and it racked up 1,000 real fast, because it was a hot topic. It's one of the bigger fights that we've had. But we have some other big fights coming up here soon. Astrology is a hell of a tool. Charlo versus Canelo. That's going to be interesting. We will definitely see what happens with that. we're gonna be here for what? Another 30 minutes? And then I gotta go. So we're still here if y'all have any more questions or anything else like that for 30 more minutes. And like I said, we'll be back tomorrow with the sponsored Super Saturday South Node Synastry Symposium. Yeah. What do I think about the Nate Diaz and Jake Paul fight? Nate Diaz, they got paid a lot of money to get knocked the fuck out. Plain and simple, like a lot of UFC fighters did. Nate Diaz done got paid a lot of money to get knocked smooth out. Nate Diaz can UFC fight, he cannot box. And Jake Paul is not, you know, a great boxer, but he does have professional boxing skills. So, I mean, that's the truth of that matter is Nate Diaz done took money so he get $1 million, which is nothing he's going to make. He's getting more money in this boxing fight than he's ever made in the UFC. I want you to understand that. UFC has set fees, and there's a lot of people that really try to advocate for them to make more money. Boxing is way more money, and Jake Paul is one of the biggest attractions in boxing, even if people don't like him. Every one of his fights are pay-per-view. They're always entertaining. People want to see him lose. He's built up this model in the Floyd Mayweather brand where he's not a real boxer. So people want to see him get knocked out. So people keep buying pay-per-views thinking that one of these motherfuckers are about to knock his ass out. Well, it's not going to work like that off the rip because obviously there is money involved. And so he has taken Floyd Mayweather's model to where people didn't like Floyd Mayweather's personality. And so they wanted to see him get beat. So nobody paid to see Floyd because the people that supported Floyd really couldn't afford it. The people that support Floyd Mayweather are usually lower or middle class people that can't afford to go to fights or afford to pay for pay-per-views. So the people that are paying for pay-per-view are the people that are paying to see him get whooped. They're like, man, watch, this motherfucker's about to whoop Floyd. He can't run all the time. He's going to run. He's going to run. He's going to run. He don't do nothing but run. He's going to get knocked out. And so because he did that and he built up this type of hate against him, he allowed that to make it profitable for him to where he then got paid hundreds of millions of dollars for a fight because, hey, they just want to see if this is going to be the one that finally whoops his ass. And ain't nobody the one that whooped his ass. And so as long as he kept it that way. Now, Jake Paul has taken that same narrative and played it to his own advantage. And it's funny that his brother had a little spat with Floyd and he played that game with Floyd because that's all he does is he fought Tommy Fury and he got that close decision loss, but even that is kind of suspect. But these other guys, he calls them into the boxing ring and he knocks them out. And we know them because UFC is actually more popular as far as a household name than boxing is. But as far as them, they are not as skilled in boxing. So it's like a marketing manipulation. And so when they come in, Jake Paul just knocks them the fuck out. They get the biggest check that they've ever had. He gets another win on his thing and the pay-per-view money and the gate. And then everybody goes on about their business. But to be perceptive is to realize that right there is if it's not fake, then it is Nate Diaz just gonna get knocked out. Not on purpose, but he knows it and it's gonna happen. Jake Paul knocked that boy sideways. Now, Couture P, you said Jupiter and Aries in the 4th house. Opposite your midheaven and Libra in the 10th house. You can have an attitude. You get it from your family. You was raised a certain way. You was kind of raised rough. And like you're cool people, but you can have an attitude or it can seem like you have an attitude. And even with Jupiter and Aries in the 4th house, like it's just because you're like you have a lot of fire, a lot of passion, and people take you the wrong way. But you know, you were just raised up to be tough. You were raised up by your family to be ambitious and be the type of person that goes for it. You know, you inside of you have a lot of fire burning, but that can get in the way of your people skills sometimes. And so as you learn how to balance the two, then you can develop unique people skills, or then you can kind of just find a way of still being assertive, but also being diplomatic to other people's needs at the same time. With all of that. Reflection, you said in a street fight, who will win? The bigger, stronger dude who looks like a bodybuilder, or a skinny dude who's a boxer? A skinny dude who's a boxer. Young God, you said, what does being born on the first quarter moon mean? I don't know if I can answer that, to be honest with you, fam. Because I'm not real familiar with the phases enough for me to confidently say that I'm gonna say in the right one. I have a booklet and I have those written down because I used to study them, but I don't want to be wrong and I don't want to lie to you, and I'm not the type of individual that would just say just anything. So I would say that right there is outside of my realm of expertise. Oh, my bad, ToP. Yeah, my bad. Tell I didn't mean nothing by it. Develop them people skills. It's been a pretty good live today, ain't it, man? Reflection, you say, do I think it could go both ways? I don't go both ways. What you mean? What you mean? Go both ways. Elaborate, bro. No, the stronger guy, no. Let's see. No. Bodybuilders can't. Let me tell you something about big dudes, bro. I'm gonna be real with you. Let me turn this down real fast. Much respect to all the dudes that work out and they get buff and stuff, because that don't mean any hate what I say, what I'm about to say. And most dudes that have a lot of size, I'm talking about big muscles or a lot of height, and I'm just talking about big guys in general, they cannot fight for real because they have always intimidated everybody. And so people see them like, man, I'm not fucking with him. Hell no. So when it did happen, like, they were already bitching up, or they were already, you know, it was already about to be a problem right off the rip. So the big stronger guys, like, no, that skinny guy will box his ears off. Nah, the big stronger guy, like, if they don't have the intimidation factor, it's just not gonna work. Like, big dudes can't fight. If any of y'all know a real big old dude, I'm talking about a big old swole dude, big ass, just big old fucking muscular ass, tall ass dude. Most of the time they cannot fucking fight because they have intimidated people their whole lives. They've never really had to fight anybody because most people look at them and like, man, I'm not fucking with that big old motherfucker. And so they don't have a lot of mobility, one. And two, they've never really had a real fight because that intimidation has always worked for them. And going back to boxing, let me tell y'all something else that's a mismatch. I'm going to tell you right now. There's a big time mismatch right here. Devin Haney. And a lot of y'all ain't going to know these names, but Devin Haney, Devin the Dream Haney versus Regis the Rugaroo, Regis the Rugaroo. That shit is a tongue twister. Devin the Dream Haney versus Regis the Rugaroo Prograde. And Devin Haney is gonna beat the brakes off that dude. Just so y'all, and it's not my personal preference, it's just knowing boxing. I'll tell you that, to bet money. If you ever want to bet on sports, come to me. We'll use this astrology and we will bet together. But I need my cut. My financial advisor don't let me give out freebies. Shakur or Haney? Haney, Devin Haney. Shakur looks good, but I'm not so sold on him. Tank will beat them all. Gervonta Davis will beat them all. What practice is better to learn? Muay Thai or boxing? Boxing for me. That's just for me, though. I'm not really into Muay Thai. I used to be into MMA a little bit, but not really. Like, I was into it when they had that. Do you remember when they had, a lot of y'all never watched the Ultimate Fighter show, but they had, what was his name? The dude that looks like the Mad Magazine guy. Is it Forrest something? Forrest Griffin? Is that his name? And Rashad Evans? Yeah, Forrest Griffin and were they the coaches on there? Was it Forrest Griffin and Rampage or Rashad Evans? I don't know, but that's back when I used to watch it. And then I watched Anderson Silva's whole UFC reign because I loved Anderson Silva. But other than that, I wasn't really into UFC. So, we're about to go in about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm going to remind y'all again. I want y'all to fucking tune in. We are 10 minutes from leaving. But tomorrow, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, or 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we are going to do the sponsor Super Saturday South Node Synastry Symposium, where we are taking a deep in-depth look at the real-life synastry between Tiara, a 40-year-old nurse anesthetist and powerful divinator, a Leo sun, Pisces moon, Virgo rising, and Derek, Dr. Derek, to be exact, a successful surgeon with superior swag, and a Leo sun, and a Gemini moon, and a Sagittarius rising. And it's gonna be very, 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 very cool to be able to bring this to y'all. So I need all of y'all to make sure that you're here. And I appreciate your love and support, man. I appreciate all. Come and bring y'all all that tomorrow. If any of y'all are interested in any astrological readings whatsoever or consultations, don't get at me in my comments. Shoot me an email at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. If you are inquiring about my services, shoot me an email. All right? And I ain't out yet quite yet, bro. I'm about to leave in about 2-3 minutes, about 5 minutes or so. We vibing. Where we want to go out on? I fell asleep, my bad, y'all. I'm just playing. No, I was going to read this. But all right, y'all, I'm gone. Damn, I lost it.